Good morning, everyone. I told Greg I need those pants. I was in Vegas last week and I had nothing to wear, and I was like, I should have just called Greg. So first, welcome to Spokane. This is my home. I just want to say welcome, 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 and welcome to this first statewide gathering. I just want to I'm like in awe of this. So I just need to soak all of you in this room. It's so beautiful. I come to a lot of events in this room, and they don't look like this. So it's beautiful. It's really beautiful. So let me go back to I'm supposed to be focused. Okay, this is why they give me a script. So I wanted to say welcome to a full room of folks that care deeply about Washington, folks that care deeply about their communities, about our communities, about what's possible when we come together on purpose. So it means a lot to have all of you here. And some of you have traveled a really long way. Some of you left your families, your kids, your work, which is so passionate. Like, this is passion work that you do. You left that for a minute to come here, to put yourselves fully in this space. And I just want to say that we honor that. So thank you. Thank you. Okay, now, I am so excited that I get to talk to Nichole because I don't get to spend as much time with you anymore. So Nichole, welcome back to Spokane. Welcome. You have spent real time here. And when you come back to this place, what comes to mind for you?
Well, first of all, it is a joy to be here with you, Latisha, you and our founding board members, some of whom are here and our current board. You gave us the space and the permission to really listen to the people so that we could become the organization they needed. So it is an honor to be with you. I think it's no secret that I love Spokane, and I tried to count how many times I've come to Spokane since I started, and it's somewhere between 40 and 50 times. And Spokane and this whole region, it's the home to some of my dearest friends, I would even say chosen family. It's also the home to some of my actual family. And it is also home to a good number of Initai team members. And, you met our board member, Margot, and this is her indigenous homeland. And I would just say I have loved every minute earning the right to be a guest here in this beautiful land with this beautiful water. And most importantly, the incredible organizations and leaders who have taught me so much. I think about meeting Sandy Williams and the lessons she conveyed. I think about Asians for Collective Liberation and Manzanita House and the Black Lens. I think about our friends at Waters Meat, and I think about the delicious food and incredible restaurants here. And I know that this place and this region is a place that is not without real challenge and real struggle, both today and in the history. But mostly I just think about the badass leaders that are doing the work every day to make this place better.
I love that you can say badass here. So I'm just going to repeat it, that you said badass. So that's fantastic. I don't get to say that very often. So that feels right to me. I want to start with the fact that this is Initai's first statewide conference. That's a big deal, but it's also a big ask. So when you consider everything that communities are facing right now, on the local, the national, the global scale, taking a week, like for real, like a week to be away, feels so difficult on so many fronts, and it can feel like a tall order. So why is it important to Initai to gather in this way, and why now?
Yeah, you said it, Latisha. Folks in this room are doing extremely important work every day, and you left it to be here, and you left your families and your communities, and we do not take that lightly. So let me first say thank you. And let me say that right now, it is so important for us to be together and to build something different together. And we know that those who do not share our values and those who have held an outsized amount of power are right now creating chaos and confusion and distracting us and costing us our attention and our resources. And we also know that this is a very, very scary time. And it's not a moment, it's a season. And so we have to make time for relationships and connection and to find each other. But the real reason we came together is that you all asked us to bring you together. And if you spent some time around Initai, you know that we take listening very serious. But listening doesn't count unless you follow through with some actions. So you all said, bring us all together, and we said, well, we've never done that before, and we don't exactly know how, but the answer is, sure, we'll do it. And so here we are working to build connection and hopefully trust, and hopefully reminding ourselves of how powerful we can be when we stand shoulder to shoulder, because we know this season requires us to be our boldest and bravest self and to have new, sharper strategies. And it requires us to have space to dream and to imagine a different political future for all of us. So I hope that as part of this, you'll have a chance to make some new relationships, sharpen those strategies, and tell the truth about who Washington really is. Because the truth about Washington is this room right here, right now, and the tens of thousands of people that you all represent.
I want to make space for applause, so that's good. You and I have known each other for a really long time, and part of what I value is that we've learned a lot together in public. We've made some mistakes, Nichole. You and I have made some mistakes. And there was an early moment in Spokane that we learned something. Can you want to share that story?
Yeah. Oh, have we? We've been on some adventures together.
Alas.
Yes. But I love that you asked this question because this is actually one of my favorite mistakes.
Okay. It's not my favorite mistake, but let's go. But I've made a lot. So.
Well, so almost 8 years ago, as we were traveling the state and really trying to listen and understand so that we could build an organization that matched what communities said they needed and wanted, you agreed to help me plan a dinner to get to know leaders in Spokane. And so we, kind of looked at all the big organizations, all the institutions. We invited all their leaders, and we had an awesome dinner. Like, very lovely, smart, passionate humans came. And about halfway through the dinner, Latisha and I looked at each other and we said, well, this whole room is white except for me and Latisha.
Really weird.
And
Really
that
weird
is not who Spokane is. We know that Spokane is wildly and beautifully diverse, and that, we know that, the census knows that, and I'm pretty sure everyone in this room knows that. And so we really appreciated our time, and we said, we're going to do a do-over. And so we planned a whole nother dinner and invited a whole bunch of other incredible humans. And that was such an important experience because it reminded us that if you are serious about equity, you have to be willing to tell the truth, you have to slow down, and sometimes you have to start completely over from scratch and do it again. And that was the first of many, many visits and many, many friendships. And that was not the only community that we had to revisit and do a couple do-overs in so that we could truly benefit from the wisdom of the people of Washington.
Thank you, Nichole. And I love that story because it holds both kind of accountability and possibility together. And I think it's Martha. Is she here? Martha, she's fantastic. But there she is. She said something years ago to me, to the board, I think, that said, we can hold two truths at once, right? And I've held that dearly because sometimes we make mistakes, but that doesn't mean we're terrible or what have you. It just means we're in the moment and we're learning. So the other thing you said that's really important is that if you allow it, Washington can look all white, and that's not true. So say more about that. What do you want people in this room to understand?
Yeah. I want folks to understand that there are some big myths about who Washington is that too often shapes how power moves in this state. And if you only look at certain decision-making tables or boardrooms or a number of powerful institutions, you can start to believe that power can only lie in a very small cross-section of Washington. And it pushes the rest of us, the majority actually, out into the margins. And that's not the truth of who Washington is. Washington is full of Black, Native, immigrant, queer, trans, rural, and communities of color, and so many other powerful communities. And the problem is that too many systems are built to make us less visible. And I think that part of what matters about this room, this gathering, is that we are making visible what has always been true about this state. And it should make perfect sense to all of us that we can be in charge, that we have big, bold, beautiful ideas, and that when we lead and when we govern, we can materially improve the lives of everyday people in Washington, and that they deserve that. We deserve to shape the strategies and serve the people and create the future that Washington has always deserved. And I gotta, and I know that there's still some folks out there that does not make sense for, and that they have a hard time imagining that. They have a hard time imagining that there could be this 501c4 grant-making foundation out there that loves to hang out in all 39 counties. But we're here, and you're here, and so it's true. And I think for us, we all have to do our own work to really break the cycle and tell a different truth, and then live into that truth together.
I love that. I love that. I want to stay there for a minute because I think one of the things people may still be learning is who Nichole is. So we talk about myths. How does Nichole work? What choices is the foundation making? Some people think you're a health foundation. Some people are not sure where the resources come from. I hear this all the time. People are like, what did you guys even create over there? What is that thing? Some people think you don't like organizations from certain counties. Some people are wondering what kind of funder you're even trying to be. So let's talk about it. How does Nichole operate? Why have you made all the choices you've made? Let's talk about this crazy 50-year vision. Let's talk about the long-term general operating support that you focused on. Let's just talk about all the things. Let's do some myth busting. Okay.
That's a really good question. It's actually like
it's a lot of questions,
92
but just
questions,
go. It's fine.
But here we go. I love it. So first of all, I want to remind folks that we're still very, very young. We're just about 8 years old. So we're still a baby in the scheme of things. And we're still learning and growing and changing. And I also want to say that we are not perfect, and we are aspiring very, very much to be great listeners and to be very accountable to the people of Washington. And so much of who we are and how we do things was really created from the thousands of listening sessions and meetings where people in this room truly shaped who we became. And one of the biggest, most important choices that we made is that we wanted to be authentically and truly statewide, meaning that we believed power and resources needed to go to all 39 counties, and that we couldn't win unless it did. So it is not that we dislike any counties. The truth is we love all the counties. And we have a bunch of counties that, frankly, we need to get a lot better and stronger and have more relationships in. The other thing we heard from folks is that long-term general operating resources were really, really critical. And that's not something new. We did not invent that. Communities have actually been telling philanthropy that for decades and decades and decades, probably as long as philanthropy has existed. And folks also said they really wanted to be supported, to be powerful, and if they were powerful, they could work on many, many issues as opposed to just choosing one or two issues. So that's important to know. So what we really care about is, are you accountable to your community? Does your board match the people you say you are in service of? And are you committed to racial justice and equity and supporting communities to be more powerful? That is what we care about. And and that is our focus because that is what you all said that you prioritize. Now, I have to be really honest, that comes with some trade-offs. Lots of foundations like to do kind of like giant grants to a couple organizations, and it's a lot like the Hunger Games. And there's been a lot of research on that. And when that type of grant making happens, it's great because it's giant checks. But who often gets those grants tend to be the organizations who are already the most well-funded, are from big cities, are led by very charismatic, often already powerful people. And that work is important too, but in order for us to make mini grants and really focus on smaller and grassroots organizations and maybe organizations who have not known philanthropy for as long, we chose that path rather than the sort of the other path I just described. So I always want to be honest about that. And we think our most important job is like, get the money to the people.
Yes.
And so we've really built our organization in order to try to do that with as few barriers as possible. And we're still learning, we're still changing, and we're still hopefully getting better. And we always love feedback. So, yeah.
That's great. I love that because I think that philanthropy is often kind of this black box, right? And so really being transparent about what's going into that box, what are you thinking, how does it come together is really powerful. So thank you. One of the questions I think I've heard that's kind of woven through this is a question around what we deserve. Not just kind of what we can get, not just what we can survive, but what do we actually deserve? And you've talked about this for a long time. What does that mean to you today?
Yeah. It means a lot right now. It's really important right now in this season to talk about what it is that we deserve. For far too long, people have been told to settle for survival, to settle for the scraps. That being included is good enough, and to be tolerated is the hope. And I reject that. Our communities deserve to be safe. They deserve dignity. They deserve belonging. They deserve joy. They deserve all the resources, and they deserve power. They deserve to shape the decisions that affect their lives. And leaders in this room, you all deserve to hold power too. And you deserve to make decisions, and you deserve so much more than just the chance to influence someone else with power.
I love that.
You deserve to be the person with power. And
I love that. That's good. That's very good.
It's super important also, particularly at this time, to say that we should not allow other folks to determine when we matter or when we are relevant or when they're comfortable with us. We cannot be convenient. And I think the last several years, in 2020, when suddenly racial justice and equity was valued, and now it's not, it's more important than ever that Initai stands its ground and powerfully declares our commitment to racial justice and equity.
Good deal. We got music. That's good? All right. I thought we were getting the hook, so I was just trying to mind the music. Oh yeah, there it is. I see. I used to watch the Apollo. I know how this works. All right. It's like, they're about to come on here with a
We're
hook
not leaving.
and a dancing man, and all right. We digress. I know that you've been clear that it's also about how we treat each other. We're going to talk about this, people. That matters to the vision that we're all trying to work toward. Can you talk about how we treat each other and why this matters in the moment? We're carrying a lot.
Yeah. This is really important. It's really important. It's really important to say in this room right now, which is, certainly there are plenty of folks who may not agree with the values that we hold or the values that you hold, and certainly in the moments when folks are cruel, it is very impactful and very hard. But in this time where many of us are hurting and in pain, it's really important to talk about how we treat each other. And I know for me, when I have been most hurt and most pained, it's when the people who are supposed to be on my side have been the hardest on me. And in this time when we are all experiencing so many attacks for our varied identity, it's really easy to turn that on each other. When the pain is real, you often will give the sharpest critique to those who you are most close with. And we have to think about the world we want to create and start practicing it on each other right now. I do want to say one more thing, which is that doesn't mean that we pretend that conflict is bad or that we avoid hard conversations. We have to get really good at hard conversations, but we have to do it with love and care. We have to be in generative conflict, and we have to stop shaming and isolating each other.
Speak it.
An attack on any one of us is actually an attack on all of us. And I always say, I am on Team Collective Liberation. And I think all of you are on Team Collective Liberation. Yes. And Team Collective Liberation, we got to get better at belonging and inviting people in and building a more powerful and united coalition.
I love that. That's so good. Belonging, is really important. It feels really important, but it is really important, not only because we need it for ourselves, but because people everywhere are looking for belonging, even the people that are being pulled into some really harmful things. How are you thinking about belonging right now?
Yeah. I think all humans want belonging. And as you said, some of the very folks who are being recruited into division, they're actually seeking belonging too, and someone's inviting them in. Mm-hmm. And so Team Collective Liberation, we do have to get better at inviting and connecting and do less critique and othering, as I said. And so we got to get good at connection and care and building spaces for people to feel seen, needed, responsible, and connected to something larger than themselves. And all of you are so incredible and talented at that. And I want to both say thank you, and I want to invite a lot more conversation and thinking about how we get better at belonging together.
I love that. All right, so we're going to end there before the hook comes. But because I'm not going to be hooked, people. I'm wearing white. For everybody in this room, so usually you put the call to action like at the end after you've had all this time, and it's like, but we want to put the call to action up front, right? So what do you need from people over these next few days and beyond?
Yeah. Well, first of all, we need you. We need your leadership. We need your courage. We need your willingness to be open to new relationships, new experience, and new ways of understanding power. And I want to be really real here. We have to get more comfortable talking about power. Some people are still uncomfortable about that word, and so many of us have been told that we should not want power or expect power. But if we want a different world and a better state, we have to get more comfortable with this conversation. So my invitation is this: find your people and organize. open your mind to new ways of being and building together. And as you do that, please think about the next 50 years and what it is you want for yourself, for your family, for your community, this state, and this democracy we're still building together. And I believe Washington State has the chance to be the most welcoming state. I believe we could be the state where we cherish and celebrate our immigrant communities, where we celebrate our LGBTQIA leaders and all of their vision and are the most welcoming state to all of those communities. I believe we should be the state that practices the most respect for Native sovereignty and honors Black power in every town across Washington. I think we have a real chance in Washington to build a democracy where single moms and poor people and elders and people with disabilities are leading and governing and materially improving the lives of everyday people. And I think that future is within our reach.
Thank you.